Hello, class. This is my oral presentation for ASCI 491 for the issue, my research. That's the implementation of the unmanned air vehicles in the current aviation industry. My name is Herminio Ortiz. Trying to state the problem in the implementation of the unmanned in the aviation industry is one of the biggest things to look at before stating the problem is looking at past drones versus current drones. Back in old wars, World War One, World War Two, and beyond, there's always been a type of espionage that has been implemented to try to get intelligence within the country that they're trying to operate from. So it's known that it's, if they're not a machine, there's even is this anything that doesn't involve a person inside of the vehicle to get the intelligence. In current times, the FAA policies and regulations are broken down by size. There's small that don't require any small drones that don't require any permissions or anything. GPS is not required as of right now. And as of right now, the between the personal or commercial drones, it's the commercial drones are the ones that are you actually need to have a LLC to operate legally. But the personal drones, there's no controller right now, which is the issue that I'm trying to work through. And with that, even the personal ones. But aside from personal, the FAA and Amazon business plan, Amazon is actually trying to gather 300,000 drones to start delivering packages. And just looking at that into what the world is today, it just seems like a big challenge. It's not gonna work out anytime soon. There's way too much unknowns. There's not enough research that these will work. The dangers are endless. It could hurt people. It could hurt buildings. It could hurt. It could be impede in the other way in other manned aircrafts or also unmanned aircrafts. And how are they going to work through this? The relevance of the problem is the aerospace industry grows. Drones are only starting to be incorporated into the procedures now. The FAA has some procedures, but they're just allowing them to fly, but they have no control over them. There's so many things, workarounds, and it's just not the dangers that have not been limited down. Say, I know FAA's first priority is safety, and with this exercise and with Amazon trying to implement their delivery packages, is just not the most feasible thing at the current time. For the privately owned ones, there's non-existent training. There's training, suggested training, but there has to be something out there for people to be familiarized. And then the businesses do require an LLC just for the liability of their business, and that way lawsuits and it's more aimed for that realm. The policies and procedures of the military drone operators, they're pretty much standalone in the sense of they almost treat their vehicles as real airplanes, just because operators on the ground are are not just operators, but they're actual pilots that go through simulations. They go through just the same process and procedures that actual manned airplanes go through. They ask for the same permissions, and since they are the first ones to implement this truly into the world of aviation, they wanted to get this as close as possible as manned aircraft. But yeah, going back to the Amazon issue, covering the United States with 300,000 drones from Amazon would only be a start, which is why it's so relevant through the problem. Because once Amazon gets into their realm of delivering packages, they other than they themselves trying to grow their business and deliver more packages and try to eliminate the road traffic, there's going to be other e-commerce companies that are gonna want the same technology just to save the postage prices to get items quicker to the person that ordered it. The FAA has not implemented the plan into their existing drone laws. So yeah, they're gonna have to work with Amazon with tests, and it just Amazon has a long way to go still. The analysis and results: military has their appropriate ASA requirements met, an extensive pilot training exercise, going through understanding the works that everyone goes through. The military, as stated before, they go through the same exact same training to understanding the physics and everything behind an actual aircraft. The RQ-4 is one of the main ones, probably one of the largest ones too. And the clarity, people are still, even in military bases, once an RQ-4, Global Hawk, is trying to take off, like they still clear and they monitor the takeoff and landing. There hasn't been a roadway incident. There has been one shut down recently in the past 4 years. Um, but other than it being an actual drone, there has been limited risk, which is why military has been kind of their standalone. The military UAVs are not even the military UAVs are not flights are not in domestic. So most of them are not domestic. So FAA even then only controls about 30% of the military drone UAV flights. Personal drones are capable of having a camera or small payload, which is another analysis that FAA needs to take into consideration in ruling of their policies and procedures in their assessment of safety. But through reading through articles, Amazon has been one of the results is that Amazon has been set back until 2023 or until they can settle on the procedures with the FAA. Starting when I started being interested into this topic, I kept noticing different answers between Amazon. Their plan has changed plenty of times, and having to do this research and analysis, like now it's much more clear on why this is impacting the e-commerce business. The plan is not just for Amazon, but the businesses that will follow as well. So Amazon is the first to take this into live action, but once it results that they're able to, there's going to be plenty of other businesses that are just going to stretch out with this great benefit in technology and usability to cover up the whole, I wouldn't say the word litter, but it would really increase the air traffic amongst big cities. For my recommendation, they, aside from them trying to be safe, I know the picture that was stated to the right, it shows the way it works around other flying objects. But still, how sure is that? There's no camera. There's only monitors. There's only GPS. How close does it have to be for it to acknowledge that there's something flying near it? There's just too many unknowns and no trust. Amazon should build trust with the FAA by starting small, just as any technology release or method of being used. Um, Considerations of height should be set to a bare minimum. There should be, for the first to build to and works to build the traffic, there should be monitors, there should be cameras with 360 with full sensors to acknowledge any other flying surroundings. Just the more devices that are attached to these drones to read and understand the surrounding area will just make this a little bit more impossible. As airlines implement a safety management team in productions, maintenance, and operations of their commercial airlines, drones should have the same. They should have not just team up with the drones and fly packages, but they should have a set team focusing on, as airliners do, a continuous way to make things safe, work out the going through the Swiss cheese diagram, like minimize any potential risk that might make this into the next problem. And there's so many layers that they need to go through in the safety management system to make this work in the most manner as they would trying to fly the 300,000 flights, 300,000 drones all over the United States. Continue on to my recommendations with the personal drones. The operators have to be 16-year-old with a permit. That would be the best. You know, they need they need to be 16 years old to become a pilot or get a permit with the car. So that age is completely feasible. The purpose will be to bring forward familiarization within the training to what the drone is capable of doing and bring forward some liability in the case something happens. It is well known to be a toy, but at the end of the day, it is something that could potentially do some sort of damage with a battery. With itself being heavy, it could just impede on something else to create that much bigger of an impact into an accident. Um, recommending the drone licensing or to be required. You have to learn avoidances of other drones, wildlife. One of the bigger ones is avoiding manned airplanes, buildings, and etc. There's as vehicles work now to accidentally run over an animal or some sort of wildlife. Drones is just now impeding on the wildlife that is able to fly as well, and there's even endangered animals that will be impacted. So getting this licensing will definitely give at least a clear mind to what these operators are going to be facing. Here are my resources that I used. Thank you very much.